Going to be chasing down an air leak today. Don't know where it is, I have an idea. So first thing I'm going to do is make sure my air is up, which it is right now, 120 pounds in both tanks. Actually got 4 tanks. Okay, I'm going to shut the motor off, but first I'm going to put the clutch in and put it in gear, and then I'm going to apply the parking. I'm going to release the parking brake. I'm going to let this fill back up to 120 again. And when it does, then I'll shut the motor off. And that way I've got the most air I can possibly get in the system. And I want the brake released. That way there's air pressure on the spring brake, just in case part of my trouble is there. I won't be able to hear if there's anything leaking out of the parking brake if the air brake is not doesn't have air charged into it. So we're coming real close on our 120 pounds here right now. I'm not going to wait any longer. That's close enough. What I'm going to do is take this piece of rubber hose, just air hose. You can use vacuum line, anything that's hollow, and I'm going to put one end in my ear, and I'm going to probe around down here, around all of these areas that have air going to them. I got one end of the hose in my ear, and I'm carefully passing by everything, the airbags, the valve that lets the air into the airbags. I can hear air leaking out of this thing when I'm at work and there's a load on the trailer. But I can't pinpoint it because I'd have to crawl underneath it. And it's rush, rush, rush. I can't do that. Don't have an opportunity for that. Do not hear anything leaking at all at this point. So I got to move on to another place. I know it's still leaking because it only takes a couple of hours and the airbags on the cab just go down. So I'm going to listen to those too. Got to listen to the bottom side of the airbags as well. I'm hearing something. Now I'm underneath the truck checking down here. I didn't show on the those brakes that I'm pointing at there. That's the parking brake. You got to check all around the back chamber on it. The front chamber is the same as this one here. All it does is apply the brakes. You'll only hear that leak if you're pressing on the brake pedal and it has a leak. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for when it's sitting still. So that would be the one in the back, the big diaphragm in the back. Check those little vent holes all the way around it with your probe, the hoses. And I did that, but I didn't have the camera with me when I did. So right now, I'm up here checking this thing here, this air dryer. The check valve on it, air tanks. It's always possible one of these hoses could be cracked and starting to leak, but not likely. These little valves here that you drain the water out of on these tanks, they leak sometimes. Could be a rust hole on the bottom. If there is, it's going to be close to one of these straps or something like that. It goes around it. Top shouldn't leak. I got to reposition myself. Got a puddle of water here. Don't want to be rolling in that. Not hearing anything. Just have to go around everything with this hose, and if you can't do it with a hose for some reason, or you have trouble hearing, then you'll have to use a spray bottle with some soap suds in it and spray it with that and try to find it that way. But this truck is good about leaking when it's at work, but not at home. So it's been hard for me to pinpoint the leaks on it. But there's one more place I'm going to check under the hood. I'm going to go up there now. Next place I'm going to check is this air hose. It goes from the compressor back to the system there. The check valve is located where I can't reach it, so the only thing I can do to check it is check it right here. I just cracked this loose and found out that it's not turning there, so put a little spray on it. Go get a vice grip and grab a hold of this. Looks like we're getting somewhere now. I'm going to go ahead and take that off. Well, I put this hose in my ear and I don't hear anything leaking there, so sounds like it seems like the check valve is good. Maybe the only problem is that airbag, but I really don't hear very much coming out of it. But then there's not much on it right now. So wherever the leak is, it's probably sealed up again for the moment. And it's just one of these things that's going to leak at work but not at home. So I'm going to check all of these fittings here. None of this should have anything on it. This is the main brake valve, kind of like what would be a master cylinder on a car. Bringing the camera around to the cab airbags and the leveling valve. This is the leveling valve for that over here. Not hearing anything on that airbag. Gotta go to the other side of the truck to check the other one. I'm not finding any obvious leaks other than a real small one at the bottom of this airbag. So what I'm gonna do next is slowly take this leveling valve. I'm going to slowly raise this thing up, put more air in the bags, and see what happens. I got a paper clip on mine. It's only going to go up as far as the shocks will let it go. The shocks will extend out to their maximum, and then it'll stop. By the way, we're going to be changing shocks real soon on this truck. We'll do videos on that. I'm going to go inside and see how much air pressure I got in these bags right now. I checked inside to see how much air was in the bags, and it's only 20 pounds at this point, so I'm going to go and put some more in. Uh-oh. Got it pumped up to about 60 pounds of air, which is what I would normally have in the bags when I got 34,000 on the tandems or on the drives. Well, here we are up in front of the fifth wheel again, and now with the load simulated by filling up the airbags with 60 pounds of air, I hear air leaking, but I can't pinpoint it with the hose yet, but I can hear it. That's a start. It's in this neighborhood. The reason I couldn't find it before, I was checking the bottom and the top of these bags, but right in the side I never checked that. I can feel it right here on this bag. That's why it leaks when it is full. Right there it is. Let me see if I can get this on the microphone. If I can find the microphone on this thing. And when you can't find it with an air hose, you can always do that. Spray a little soap bubbles on it. Okay. We're going to be doing airbags as well as shocks. There's also a lot of air under the dashboard, or I should say inside the dashboard. You may have to take these covers off. I don't know, every truck's different. These old Freightliners all have these, but old trucks, wherever your valves are, you're going to have, and your air brake gauges, from your pedal to the sensors, the air pressure sensors that turn buzzers on, and all of those things are inside the dashboard, and they have leaked on me as well. And a lot of times it's a little valve that looks similar to this. This is a high pressure switch that goes on the air conditioning, and it's a little valve that looks similar to this that screws in. It's got a little, this has got a female thread, but the valves I'm talking about have a male thread and a little small thread, and it screws into, there's several of them inside the dashboard for different purposes. One is for your brake lights, one is for your low air pressure warning, things like that. So you've got to make sure that those are not leaking as well, because they will leak. The switch will just start leaking and air will start running right out the edge of it there, like that. I mean, this is not one of them, but it looks a lot like it.